Welcome to Joe's Bar. What conversation can we get started for you tonight?
Oh yes, we are live and open for business.
Yes, we are. Welcome to Joe's Bar, the final one of 2020. Yeah, and it's some special occasion. Well, technically, it's not today, but it's tomorrow. But yeah, whatever. It's no big deal. I'm not even going to go into it because right now, my special occasion is that I have four of my most beautiful friends here, people I really love and respect and enjoy. And I'm so excited to have them join us for Joe's Bar tonight. Thank you all for being here. Let's go down the row. Will I do it tonight? Will I throw the curveball? Nah. Go ahead, Katie.
Don't jinx it, man. 2020 has been hard enough. Hey, guys. I'm sure you all know me by now, but if you don't, I am Katie Salidas. I am the author of multiple urban fantasy and paranormal romance series. I'm also the host and producer of the Spilling Ink Show and a publishing consultant with Rising Sign Books.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Josh.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joshua Pantalleresco. I write stuff. I guess I draw stuff too, and I do a podcast called Just Joshing, also on Twitch. And tonight I am here because Joe was kind enough to ask me to come. How you guys doing?
Awesome. Welcome, sir. All right, Miss Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia. I write as J.K. Allen, primarily young adult urban fantasy, and I'm also an editor, so you can find me at hijinkswriter.com.
Nice. I'm not sure who she's referring to. I'm guessing it's Katie about the hat, but Rebecca says nice hat. Yeah, because I don't think she's seen Julia yet because it's on a delay. But when you see Julia's hat, say it's a nice hat too because it's a really nice hat too. I like it.
Thank you.
Speaking of nice hats. And nice hair.
nice voluptuous hair. Greetings, Williams. I am JD Estrada. I'm a Puerto Rican indie author. I am witnessing the post-apocalyptic BS that is 2020 from Atlanta, Georgia. And to celebrate, I am drinking an independent brew. It's called Bull Monk. I'm going to try it here for the first time, and I want it to be so indie that it's just obnoxious.
We'll get your review in a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was just thinking about this as you guys were doing your intros. Katie has something new to add to her intro. She still hasn't added yet. And then Josh, you added a little wrinkle to your intro. I wonder how hard it is after all these years, because you've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. So how hard was it to add that little wrinkle in and change your elevator pitch?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So anyone that's watched what I've done with the podcast for the last month, I've turned it into a very visual. Thing. Listen, my hair, I'm not gonna wear a hat. My hat needs my hat is like not yet. If you're gonna give me a hat, you gotta give me something like really special, like really like over the top. It's the only way I'm gonna do it. Like a cowboy 10-gallon hat, maybe.
Yeah.
maybe. But let me finish this.
And chaps.
So drawing terrified me. And I gotta be very honest about this. Drawing terrified me, but I also realized that I'm now doing a visual show. So I wanted to do something that was visually different. So every Friday I do what is called a drink and draw. Tonight I'm doing it as well. My guest tonight's Elsa Garagado, so is also going to be on Twitch tonight. She works for Warner Brothers. When I interviewed her, her first job was Avatar. So I'm drawing Alice in Wonderland themed stuff tonight because I feel that one of the best pieces of advice I ever got. Katie knows who gave us this advice too, because he was also a guest on her show at the same time, was to get out of your comfort zone where the magic happens. So I decided to do this in a very public place on my show. And I've had the distinct pleasure of drawing with some very good people. When I impressed my sister, who's a very accomplished artist in her own right, with some of the stuff I've actually been able to put together, although I've been drawing just stuff like Ninja Turtles and the Grinch and other things, like just simple things. It's been impressive to the point that I'm actually doing my first draw and bid for Mog Park, who worked on Game of Thrones at the end of this month. So this this is for me, I've been a comfort zone thing where I've actually had to unlearn some stuff and relearn it. And my ultimate goal next year is to do a comic book called Zippy the Dragon, which is about a dragon that makes fun of the artist that's drawing him. So I cannot, this also gives me a great excuse to actually be still terrible at this. But in this time and in this place, I've expanded my skills. I actually shouldn't just say I'm a podcaster anymore. I'm actually a broadcaster. I broadcast video, audio, I draw, I write. I have become a lot more of an artist in 2020 than I ever did before. So I have used this time to grow, and what you're seeing is the result. So now, I actually probably should say I broadcast too instead of podcast too, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, you know, that's a hard thing to change up too. But I really liked your Ninja Turtle. I saw the one you posted on Instagram. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not that bad. I mean, mine would look like a big blob of nothing. So I don't even think mine would resemble a turtle or a person.
I'm going to issue you a challenge then. One of these Fridays, you join us. Doesn't matter. We'll have a blast. Right. Rich Perota is a really cool guy, and you should definitely come on with Rich. Rich is fun. You'll have a blast with him.
All right. Yeah, I will do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Why not? You need comic relief on your show, so that's one thing you really need on your show, Josh, is comic relief.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, really? Yeah. I can be a great man, kind of, sort of. Anyway.
Yeah. So Katie is doing a really cool co-hosting gig these days that she keeps not talking about. So.
I swear it's an autopilot thing. I've got to just retrain myself to add it into the script because I've said it so many times that it just pops out. I don't have to think about it. So it's going to take me a little bit to retrain myself to add the additional in there.
Well,
I'll do it.
If it's not part of your elevator speech by June, I'm going to be personally insulted.
Oh, you're giving me till June?
You're being too nice.
No problem.
No. Put some pressure. February.
Nah, it's all right. I don't like to push on people because we're indies. We don't need deadlines. Who the fuck wants deadlines? That's why.
But I also don't want to take up a 10-minute spiel though.
Yeah,
I want to keep it nice and snappy. But if I listed every single thing, like I stopped listing my series because it just took too long.
So wait, I've got. Ooh, can I pitch something for Katie?
Yeah.
Katie Salidas, Renaissance woman.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
It actually does fit.
She is a Renaissance woman.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it.
I sell myself as a Renaissance geek.
It's been a year. I mean, it's just been. I mean, fuck. How's the beer, by the way, JD?
I'm still deliberating.
Let us know when you want to do your.
Still out.
It's a very good first impression. This is from the ATL. It exceeded expectations, and it has 8.8 APV. So packs a kick. It's a triple ale. I'm an ale guy.
I approve.
So, you guys want to do a drink special? Talk a little shop.
Sure.
Shall we do that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't care if we don't get to any of them. I'm sure the audience would like us to get to a couple. I'm sure they're salivating. So if anybody in the audience read the drink specials and wants us to, as a request, we'd be happy to grab it. Let's do Average Joe's Ale while we're thinking about it. So what is something you're just okay at and you tend to spend working on it to get better at? Well, it looks like for me it's going to be drawing. For Katie, it's got to be her elevator speech.
Mm-hmm. I think it's everything. Everything needs work. I mean, I can pretend, I can fake it, but everything is constantly in a state of working.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Are we talking about like writing or like everything?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, writing is probably where I was going with that, but I mean, anything. I mean,
for me, like. Yeah, writing, like I can do the dialogue. I'm not good at putting in all the little like filler to like flesh out the dialogue. It's just like dialogue.
So
So that's what I work on, is like what they're doing while they're talking, or like descriptions of like what's going on around them and stuff.
I've been thinking about that actually in particular with my writing, to be perfectly
Mhm.
honest with you. My first novel, I had a lot of like saids, admired, things like that, and so there's this. I realized something. Something Jonas Saul said clicked, and I've been approaching dialogue this way and I've been working on it with Lights Out, my novel out right now, and also with my next novel. I realized that everything your character does is telling a story, and I mean everything. So what I'm using the dialogue for with the actions, it's something about that character. It's something you want to say about that character that's really specific to their story or psychology, or like adding a nuance and a layer to what's going on in the scene. So I don't use saids or asked or admired or replies. I got rid of all of that stuff. What I decided to do instead was like, okay, so if he's doing this, is he pacing? Is he or is she like contemplating something? Are they eye contact? Where's the eyes? Where are the eyes? Where is the, because everything about that's a detail. Like, well, something I realized as I've interviewed so many people is I pick up on a lot of cues with people really, really, really quickly about what they say, and more importantly, what they don't say. And I usually that for me, that helps me lead it where questions go, how to actually open stuff up. But I realized I should be doing that in my stories more, because there's a lot, because of what we're doing a lot, basically, it's not so much what's said, but what isn't said that the audience can piece together. And I feel dialogue is actually a good opportunity to do that, because you're saying stuff. But thing is, there's two layers to that. There's what you're saying, and then there's what you're doing. And you could tell some really interesting stories if you go that way, if you think in those terms. Because like, okay, there's this layer, what they're saying, then there's what they're doing, and then there's what they're not doing. And it just suddenly, the book's better. And it's just a little thing.
Maybe that's why I'm so bad at it, because like I don't pick up social cues.
Well, I have a suggestion for you if you're interested. What I would suggest is record yourself reading the dialogue out loud. Just reading. Don't look at the camera. Don't worry about it. Just put it on a camera. Put your phone down. Record yourself and read what your dialogue out loud, and see what your body does. You know, what your hands do, what your face does, and then you can kind of pick those out of how, because you're reading it as somebody else would read it, so their face would probably do something similar, or your character might do something similar in that respect. And you might pick up something that you could add in there, like there was this long pause before I said this word because maybe this word was confusing, in my brain. And so you could add that in there. There's this perplexed look that the character gives, or something to that effect. What my hands are doing when I'm doing those kind of things. Those little things help a little bit sell the dialogue a lot more. This is something that in screenwriting that is very paramount, because if you have have 90 pages of dialogue, you're going to get trashed because there's no direction. I mean, what is somebody just going to stand in front of a camera and just repeat lines? No, that's not how that works. They do subtle things because they're interacting with humans, and we do things that we have little ticks, we have little nuances that we all add, and those little details make a difference and add such a just an enriching experience, and so I think if you do that, or just pay attention to what you read it out loud. If you don't want to record yourself, just read it out loud and pay attention to what your hands are doing when you say something like that.
But don't get in the habit, though, of putting action with every single bit of dialogue.
Right.
Because we're not constantly doing stuff every single time we talk. Sometimes for the pacing of a story, when conversation happens, sometimes it's a quick back and forth. Then there's some movement. Then there's something happening. There's an eye twitch, a side-eye glance, whatever. And then you're back to back and forth. So you have to kind of work it in naturally.
Yeah, that's a good one, though. I appreciate that. JD, Katie, you guys have one that you're working on? Something you're working on?
Stuff that I have to work on. finishing projects because lately I'm very average at that. Part of what I was doing right now was checking the document that I'm gonna do a manuscript Monday, and it's gonna be embarrassing as hell because I have 24 projects that I have ongoing.
Wow.
Which is retarded, but it just goes to show what 2020 has been like. Because for me, it's like I'm writing, I have some sort of momentum, then I get slammed with work, and then when I get back to writing, I'm like, I don't know if it's PTSD because I got slammed with work while working on that or something. I don't know. And I go like, oh, look, new shiny object. And I just checked out, and I have a box full of shiny objects that I wanna get them done. That's one. The other is music because I think I would like to get to pretty good and do something in 2021.
Nice. I never heard of this. What is the emotional thesaurus?
Angela
wonderful
Ackerman.
resource.
It's a great thing. Angela Ackerman has this book called The Emotional Thesaurus. It's words. It basically it's suggestions of using different words to describe different feelings, thoughts, and emotions. Really well researched. Angela's great. Like honestly, she's fantastic. She's put a lot of work into it. She's incredibly popular with a lot of writers because she's helped so many of us out. So cannot recommend her enough.
Yeah. She used to have a website where she would post updates and stuff, and there was lists that you could use, kind of like cheat sheets. And then when the books came out, and there's multiple books, it's not just one book now. She's got an entire series of explaining different body language, visual cues, and they are fabulous. Definitely worth looking at.
All right.
By the way, to your earlier question for a review from this, from ales that I've had, it has like a middle part that is very bitter and not necessarily hoppy. It is a very peculiar sensation because it kind of goes flat and bitter and then kind of gets even floral, and that's how it finishes off. So it's not bad. But for me, a good compliment would be if I buy your beer more than once, and an excellent compliment is if I buy a 4-pack, 6-pack, or multiple packs. So if someone would have this, I would be happy to have it again, but it's not something that I'm gonna search out.
Yeah, nice. There's a lot of beers that do that. You know, they have that like that little sting to them in the middle of your drinking experience.
But this, if you've ever had a porter and it has that kind of, if you have a stout, it has very toasty and it has a more evolved flavor. A porter goes kind of flat, but in a pleasant way. This is like a triple ale porter in that sense, and it's every time that it hits me, I go like, and that's not a good thing. But it's not like it's gonna keep me from drinking it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, everybody go get Katie's book. She's going to hold it up for you right at this second.
Yes.
Go ahead, Katie.
It's so pretty.
Let's see if I can get a non-glary shot here.
Yeah.
There we go. And yes, I do have some cheat sheets in here, as I was just typing out to Rebecca, if you want to see. I don't know if you can make that big enough to see.
Oh, awesome.
There. But yeah, I include my cheat sheets, but the emotional thesaurus blows my cheat sheets out of the water. I use just the ones that I most commonly use went into this book, but there's still a lot. There's a lot of word substitutions, a lot of words to seek and destroy, and some different word swaps that you might want to work with. But yes, it is my quick and dirty guide, I like to call it. And that just recently came out. I actually had to order a retail copy to get a copy of mine because the author copies I ordered aren't going to be coming in until January. So I ordered a retail copy and got it this week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if you order a retail copy, it will be here in time for Christmas, just so you know.
What is so what's something that you need to work on, Katie?
Organization. My time management skills are almost non-existent, and I tend to overwhelm myself by taking on more projects than I can actually handle, and then I end up overwhelming myself and getting stressed out and shutting down as soon as I finish the mountain of projects, I have to have like a shutdown period because I can't do any more. So I need to figure out a happy medium so that I'm not constantly shutting down at least once or twice a week.
I have a magic question.
A magic question.
A magic question.
I need a babysitter. Like
No.
seriously, like I don't have the skills to do it myself.
No. I first off, I'm not qualified. I certainly cannot. I'm not mature enough. I'm just not mature enough to babysit you, Katie. I'm just not. But I was going to ask, like, is saying no, like, can you say no to these projects, or do you just no? Why can't you say no? Is it just like it's an obligation, or is it just hard to say no, or do you just can't escape it?
I need money.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so the more jobs that I take on, the more ability I have to pay my bills. And so I try and take on as many jobs as I can. And unfortunately, it's always feast or famine when it comes to freelance work.
No, I get that. That. No, it's just like, you know, that shutdown, like you said, you want to avoid that, right? And sometimes, like, one of the things I've had to do as a freelancer is actually learn how to say no to some things. I've actually had to because, one, I'm worth more. And that sounds like a really arrogant comment.
No, you're right. You're right. It's not arrogance to know your worth.
Yeah.
And it's not arrogance to demand your worth. But it is hard in the marketplace right now sometimes to get people to understand that.
But so, which leads me to my second question. Are you getting what you're worth?
On the jobs that I am doing, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
But it does end up being like week of nothing and then week of holy shit, I have too much to do. I don't know how I'm going to get it done. You know, all-nighters, and I'm burned out. And then by the end of it, there's like a day where I go complete radio silence. And even my kids kind of know to lay off. Mom.
It's done. I'm just asking because I know I get the feast or famine concept, but if you're in that much demand, you might even be able to get away with raising your price a little bit. You know what I mean?
But I'm also, here's the other side of it. I'm also an indie, and I know the indie budget. And part of my business is not to be the highest priced person out there. It's to be able to offer a service that not only is a good service, but is one that people can afford.
Right.
So I'm trying to
I get that too. I get that too, but it seems to me like if you're coming to the point where you're getting like those 1 or 2 breakdowns a week, right? If you're getting to that point, it seems to me that maybe like less of those breakdowns are good because ultimately you can do more work, and if you can do more work, you get paid more money. So what I'm saying is I get it too. Like there are projects I will take for free because they're fun, right? I agree with Rebecca on that one. I would almost bet money on that one actually.
Rebecca, remember that when I send you notes. Remember how much you love me.
Okay, but the thing is, I think like Katie, when you like we all have like this like weight we carry, we all hit our limits, right? You have an idea. We all know when we are hitting those limits. If you get to that point, it's okay to raise your price to take a break. Because you can only do so much. If you collapse, you're losing time anyway, and you're losing money. You might as well just go. Like if you know you're at that point, it's like, well, okay, I'll do it, but for this. That way, if you recover, you're compensated for it at the very least. You know what I mean?
I hear you, and I probably won't do it though, because again, I know as an indie, I know the budgetary restrictions of an indie, so I don't want to make it too cost prohibitive to get the kind of service that they need to produce a good book. However, like I said, I need a babysitter because I suck at the management side. I need someone to smack my hand and go, no, you can't do that right now.
I think.
Are you still recovering from alarm PTSD?
Oh my God, no. Although this was the last day of school for the semester, 2 weeks of no alarms.
Yay!
Oh boy. But those kids better not wake Katie up. They're going to be in for a rude awakening. Mike said something here that I think a lot of people would probably agree with, and this is something that's not uncommon, Mike. I mean, you do when you go into a shell, sometimes you want to hibernate forever. It happens. It happens to everybody. It happens to me even.
Like a turtle.
Can I play devil's advocate on that one a little
Yeah.
bit? So here's the devil's advocate part of it. It takes confidence to take a day off. Like honestly, it's actually probably good for us every so often just to say, you know what, I need a day just to unwind and do it. Now there's a very fine line. One day, maybe even 2 days, I'm good. Then when it becomes a pattern, you become a lazy fuck.
Yeah.
But
it's something that I miss. It's the one thing I probably miss most about my relationship. Not, for anybody who doesn't know, I don't know if I'm ripping any secrets here. I think everybody who's here knows that I got divorced this year. But that was the one thing, is like, I knew I had to schedule family times. So I had to be away from Go Indie Now and from Joe, the writer, creator, and Indy, even though I was always creating, little do they know they're going to be in my stories, but I'm not actually physically doing the disciplined job that I do with these things. So I do step away in that. I had those times scheduled, and I had to make that adjustment because there was a time when I was going full steam, and it hurt my relationship even more than my divorce hurt my relationship at that time. And I made the adjustment, and I switched it up, and it really, really, Josh is totally right. It really, really helped just balance me out and keep me centered, because just being able to unwind and just hang out with people and just do that, I think is very, very important. So I'm getting, because, my life, did a 720 on me. So I kind of had to, adjust on the fly, but now I'm kind of getting back settled in. And so now I am doing those scheduled days and taking time for myself and things like that. I think that's very important.
Good, yeah.
I'm the opposite of you, Joe. I think I'm like falling backwards. I'm scrambling more now than I was back in April when I went through the same thing.
Yeah, and to be fair to you, and you have 3 young kids, and you have 3 kids and 2 very young ones, and you're the sole proprietor for most of the time with them. So I mean, you take up majority of their time. You're in charge of their lives basically Monday through Friday. So that's I didn't have that, so I got lucky in that respect, because that would be a different story altogether too. And so I think there's a lot to that too.
Yeah, but that's my normal though. Like that was the baseline before shit went to hell, and now it's like even that sometimes ends up being overwhelming because I've got all the other pressure like building up too. It's time management though. It really is. It's time management. Once figure that piece of the puzzle out, I'm sure things will line up.
Yeah, and it's easy to do, and yeah, you can fall into a trap of being lazy, but sometimes even being lazy though is sometimes you just need it. I
need someone to smack my hand and tell me stop it.
I think it's just prolonged stress, like the anxiety of not knowing what tomorrow is going to be like, and when like when you have the feast or famine going on, and it's just like it's that constant stress and anxiety that's in the back of your mind while you're doing stuff that kind of shuts your brain down. Even though we like need our brain to work more, we are unable to because of the stress just gets to you.
And I'll tell you, the older you get,
job again. No, and then holy shit, there's too many jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
The older you get to, your body will do that for you. Your body will shut you down if you don't shut it down. I'm telling you that right now. It'll happen because it happens to me quite often. My body will tell me, "No, fuck you. You're sleeping for 4 hours." I don't want to I just want to take a nap.
I remember, when I was like young, and I just like never sleep and get so much done, and now I'm like, oh, I need a 4-hour nap. See you guys later.
Is that a nap?
Naps are officially awesome. They just are officially awesome.
I live by naps. I mean, naps. I probably sleep on average 4 to 5 hours a night, and then as people have known, as people have commented, why are you texting me? Why are you messaging me at 3 a.m? Is it 3 a.m. there? Yeah, I'm up. Oh well, whatever. You message me, I'm gonna message you back at 3 a.m. I know it's probably 6 or 7 where you are, but
I can't comment. I have no sane sleep schedule at all.
I don't have a. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I sleep till 5. Like I'll stay up till 1 and sleep till 6. Whatever. I don't have a set schedule. Although I do go to work on a daily basis, so I have to have some kind of a semblance of order. But still, even in that respect, there's days I don't get up. There's days I do, but it's just. But the nap is really. For me, it's critical. I really enjoy a nap.
Actually, I know what Katie needs. I figured out what Katie needs. You need recess. No, I'm serious. You need
she needs to play dodgeball with her kids and go full throttle.
No, seriously. You know what? Straight up, that's the one.
I would not play dodgeball with Zoe.
That's not. That film that'd be awesome. But seriously, it sounds to me, right? Like that's the cool thing about being a kid going to school is you have recess. You get to go outside and yell and scream at everything and everyone for 15 minutes, and you feel better after it. So you're also maybe tired and need a nap. We are a little older, so we do need to nap maybe a little bit more as a result. But seriously, it sounds to me. I am all for at this point, considering how strange this year has been. If you need to go outside, go to a park, scream around a playground for like 10 minutes, and then call it a day. You know what? Who cares? It's 2020.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Josh, she lives on a golf course, so
Beautiful.
I was gonna say, run out onto the 8th green and just start fucking screaming.
You gotta run like Phoebe.
Yeah.
I've got a plan. Like when things open back up again, I know what I'm gonna do.
Just one plan? Shit.
Yeah, shit.
How focused?
I don't have time for more than one right now. Like if this one fails, I'm fucked for another 6 months because it's going to take me that long to come up with a new one.
I know it. I've already. I got like 3 plans, so we'll see how things go.
I get to plan A, and I'm like, "Yep, that's good enough. Forget plan B, C, and D. We'll get to that."
There are no contingencies. Yeah.
Right. I'm writing it all down.
Alcohol is a contingency.
All right. So when things open up, I'm going to go take Krav Maga or kickboxing or some kind of like kick-ass, throw all of your aggression into it, like hour-long, at least once a week class. I think that will help.
You don't need things to fully open up for that. They I'm sure, I don't know what Nevada's like. California, you can't do it. But like you if you lived in California, you'd need to wait probably about another 3 months for that to happen.
And then that's the problem. We follow California. So every time California shuts down, we shut down. So I'm like, you know what? As soon as everything opens back up again, then we'll ststart doing this.
Oh, visit Georgia. It never shuts down.
Oh,
yeah.
Fucking.
We were talking about Texas the other day and how Texas is just like, fuck you. We're doing whatever we want to do, and it's like, okay, great. Have fun with that. To each his own, I guess. I mean, I don't know. What's Calgary like right now, Josh?
I know about I don't know. I'm in Windsor, Ontario right now. So we are officially in lockdown.
Sorry, I thought you were in Calgary. I apologize.
No. I do know Calgary though too. I can actually give you updates from both because I have contacts with everybody. It seems. Calgary is just went back into lockdown. We have literally just been back into lockdown ourselves here in Windsor. So it's not quite as severe as it was last time. The first time we had lockdown. So there's this like bakery, like really up the street from where I live. They have these like carrot cake muffins. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic. They're crack. So I get to have so for me, I'm like I get to give myself that little bit of a treat every day now, which is something I couldn't do the first time. It's really weird to me that I mean our lockdown concept here in Ontario is pretty much if you have food, you're open. If you're essential, you're open, and if you're a gym or a school or you're a bookstore, you're closed. So I mean, it's a little bit more relaxed than the last time, but it's still right now a little crazy. I'm at this point figuring I got myself an Xbox 360. I downloaded Steam. I'm playing Final Fantasy VI, and I'm gonna have a good time on it. I'm just gonna chill.
Final Fantasy.
What?
Best Final Fantasy.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite ones of all time. And so I mean, it's in my top 3. 6, 7, and 13 are my favorites. But in that order, actually.
Never played 13.
What?
Never played 13.
Not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. But the thing about it is, it's so lockdown here is like that. Calgary, it's strange because you can go to a casino, or at least you could have gone to a casino in multiple. Like Calgary's weird. Calgary's kind of like Alberta was kind of like the United States of Canada. And my dad was always right about that. The United States of Alberta is actually very accurate. So Jason Kenney's a bit nuts, and the province is a little nuts. To be fair, we're all a little nuts right now. I mean, to be perfectly fair, but I mean, it makes less sense there than it makes less sense anywhere else right now. So it's kind of like, okay, that's nice. I'm glad I'm not there, and that's pretty much it.
Right. How about Michigan, Julia? How's Michigan doing?
We're on a pause right now, so it's not like a full shutdown, but there's no indoor dining at restaurants and no group classes at gyms. But the numbers are starting to go down, so we're seeing results from it. So that's really nice, and we're starting the vaccination program. So, woo.
Nice. Did Governor Whitmer go on live TV and take her vaccination?
Oh, I'm not sure if she did. I know she did an address, I think today. But my local hospitals got the vaccine, and they're starting to do the frontline workers and stuff. So it's woo, let's get going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all ready to get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Even the anti-vaxxers are like, just give it to me, please. If we can get back to normal, just fine, I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't know. Normal is
overrated
term, I guess.
Normal is
it's not so much the need to socialize; it's the ability to, if you want to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's so so I had my big thought about this whole thing is I really get why they're up here at least. I can't speak for the states. You guys, it really varies on the state. It just really does. I don't really finding a logic. I gave up a long time ago, but logic down there. But I think. Well, the thing about up here, I think the whole thing about the lockdown thing, I think regardless of how the vaccine does next year, I do think the lockdowns come to an end this year, one way or the other, for the simple reason that I can feel it here. There's a resentment building up, and it's somewhat justifiable, in the sense that okay, I can go outside to work, but I can't go outside to play. And that's and while it's not something you may not consciously think about, subconsciously it's there. You go out, right? You go out, you're working for somebody, you're making somebody else money. You're not getting paid. North America is the one thing about North America, both countries are guilty of this. They did not really take care of any of their workers during this time at all. Both countries are guilty of this one. And the thing about that is it's created this hostility that I don't think would have been if you look at Japan, you look at Australia, you look at some of those other places, they basically said, here's your money, stay the fuck home. Just fuck off.
Well,
right?
We have a work from home thing going on. If you can work from home, you have to work from home.
If you're in an office, yes. But let's say you're
small businesses are screwed.
Yeah.
All the restaurant and bar owners that I know are having to close down shop. They're done.
So there's that. Then there's also so someone like me, I'm doing a temp work at a warehouse because I've done that before. I can go out and go to work, but I can't go out to eat. I can't go out and hang out with friends. I can't do this. Basically, I'm a glorified servant is what I am when I go outside. When you think about it in that perspective, a lot of the hostility makes sense. That's where a lot of it's coming from. So I think this is my opinion personally, that no matter what happens in terms of health, the vaccine might be a repeat of 1976. It's possible. No one knows for sure. If it right, or it works perfectly, fantastic, right? Whatever. But either way, this year, lockdowns are going to be done one way or the other. Because I think what will happen is if we keep going into this, eventually people are just going to snap. And you're not going to be able to blame them, because if you look at it, strictly speaking, there's no pressure valve release.
Well, I'll play a little devil's advocate there.
Sure.
I mean, people also they tend to treat work a little bit differently than they do play, and in doing so, they get a little bit more irresponsible. They get a little bit more brazen. They get a little bit, and then they get inebriated, and they get even more brazen and a little bit more irresponsible. I mean, it's the whole the whole drink and driving thing, for a time. Back when I grew up was a big deal. The drinking and driving was a huge thing. People were dying on the roads because they just didn't care, and they just figured they were. People have a certain arrogance about them when they go out and think think certain things, and I'm not saying that's everybody, and I'm not saying that's all the time, but there is that contingency, and it has been proven that people want what they want, but they don't want to treat it like it needs to be treated to get there either. So when people go to the gym. I mean, how many times have you been to a gym before COVID and you get to a machine and somebody else just worked on it and it's full of sweat and dripping with sweat because the fucking asshole didn't decide to play?
All right.
Well, and the thing is too is like when you're at work, you can wear a mask the whole time. When you're at a restaurant or a bar, your mask is not on. That's why that's a different situation, because it's different conditions. And they showed like what in South Korea, it took like a minute for it to travel 20 feet in a restaurant. So it's like if you're not wearing a mask and it travels that quickly in an indoor setting, like that's why it's not being allowed.
I agree with you, Josh, because I felt it. I felt the stir craziness. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I also know that if I'm gonna go do something, I'm going to be socially responsible. I'm gonna be social distanced. I'm going to take care of myself, but I can't. But in this environment, I can control all that because it's me. But I can't control that out there, even out in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of an environment where probably the virus doesn't travel as fast because it goes in the ether and goes away, whatever. I mean, all that is, that's the merits of science that we can debate. But
can I throw a devil's advocate at you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's this. I can go to a restaurant.
Double,
I mean, I'm throwing the devil to the devil. I have a face shield I wear. So when I'm in line at a restaurant, I have to wear this face shield. The moment I step out of line and go out to eat, I take it off. And I take it off. Let's go one step further. I go to 10 people can go to a social gathering. Okay, that's okay. That's reasonable. How come 200 kids can go to school?
That's bullshit.
Right. So I mean, here's what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying about this. In terms of credibility, North America has epically failed, across the board, and it's not just the United States. You guys are worse, but we failed too. What's happening is we don't follow facts, we follow examples.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to look at a credible example anywhere in North America, you will not find it. Because all you have to do is go outside and look around and see how things are being run. And it's hypocritical. If there's something work-related, everybody can gather. If it's school-related, everybody can gather. If it's social-related, nobody can gather. And there's a contradiction there, right? So which undermines everything. So if the virus is so serious, why are we sending our kids to school? If the virus is so serious, why are we going to work? If the virus is so serious, right, there's a credibility issue. which is why this which increases the resentment that's going on. And once you see it like that, you can't blame anybody. That's kind of where I got to. It's like if you're someone that thinks that the virus is a joke, on one hand, I can understand where you're coming from, because look around you. We're not treating it uniformly with any consistency. Yeah. On the flip side, if you think it's scary, I also can't blame you. Look at the numbers.
Well,
and I'm totally with you on all that.
Country.
Yeah, that's our. Again, this isn't just a United States problem, although you guys took that to but you guys are. But the thing about it is, Canada's guilty too.
Yeah. Right.
Canada's very guilty on this one as well. Whereas you go to Japan, you go to South Korea, you go to like anywhere else, they're consistent. If nothing else, they're consistent, and it's easier to walk.
They had hard lockdowns and they took care of their people.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we have lockdowns, and if you dare to use unemployment, you're lazy and entitled. You can't have it both ways. You can't tell people to stay home and be safe and then call them lazy and entitled for staying home and being safe and paying their fucking rent. You don't get to do that.
Well, I think putting politics into this has just been a huge mistake, and that's been the key.
And it was going to happen. And
this was the worst year.
And it's been a bullshit.
Yeah.
This is the absolute worst year.
It's like I'm walking around with a face mask, and people go like liberal, and I go like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Can I have asthma? Can I have asthma and want to? No, I'm a liberal. I'm a tree hugging hippie.
Mike says it's not looking too good getting on. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how the vaccine goes, but. Let's do a shot of fuck 2020, shall we? And just kick it right in the mommy and daddy buttons. I think we were already headed that way anyway, so everybody just drink up and enjoy. But
I may have to pause and get another drink. I'm almost done.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
you can run off if you need to.
So, ladies first, then I'll get another drink.
But while Katie's running off, JD, why don't you give us your fuck 2020 diatribe for us? Get on the soapbox, brother. The soapbox is JD's. Here, I'll even do this, JD. You've got carte blanche. Do it.
Okay. It's easier to say fuck 2020 because it's been such a shit year. Good things have happened, bad things have happened. Good things have happened because I've met new people, because I've had to get creative and try new things. Bad things have happened because I know at least 40 people, either directly or 1 or 2 degrees of separation, that have gotten COVID. 40 to 50 people. Out of those 40 or 50 people, I know that 8 of them have passed away. I know that 6 more were in the ICU and they got out, and the rest were fine because it was normal. I think the lesson this year is an ongoing lesson, and I have so many projects because I want to stay positive, but then I need to send out some fuck you vibes and kill a couple of people. And I think it's both of the things are healthy. And I think people need to find their things to channel the fuck you, and channel the things to channel the Hakuna Matata. So it's the Hakuna fuck you. I don't know. Again, there's people that have had it so rough that for me to bitch about it, it's like, okay, so I've lived indoors mostly for the last 9 months. I know people who work at hospitals. I know people who have lost their jobs. I know people who have gone through so much shit. I know people who have gone through divorces during a pandemic because, obviously, let's just fuck it up triply. What I do know is that this experience, like pretty much every other experience in my life, positive or negative, mostly the negative ones, it's like getting caught inside when you're surfing. You have to be patient. You have to take a breath when you can, and you have to think happy thoughts. And to anyone that is fucking up your karma, don't say fuck you. Do not engage. You do you. Mute them if you have to. Unfollow them if you have to. Block them if you have to. When things settle back down and the dust goes the fuck away, let's consider that our second chance. But for now, seriously, that unfollow button and that mute button and that block button, sexy shit.
Bravo. That was a yes. Shane Wilson says the bar is so much like a real bar. It's probably like right now. If it's open, a few people trying to get drunk and two dudes just playing debate in the corner.
Okay, but at least none of us are trying to get laid. That would be sad. Or pondering opening an OnlyFans page. That's a fucking thing now.
I'm gonna do it, man.
That's a thing for some people, and I'm not gonna bash anyone, but some people it's like, you know what, I'm gonna open an OnlyFans page, and then they go like, why didn't I do this earlier? And I'm like, I'm gonna have another beer now.
Yeah.
All right, Katie, you got another drink. Do you want to jump on the soapbox?
You know, 2020 has been the year of Murphy's Law. It has been the year of don't expect anything, because anything that you expect, you're going to get the absolute opposite. But I have to say, though, something happened recently that kind of made me feel okay about humanity. Like, I had pretty much lost my faith in humanity. And I had posted something on my Facebook page, just as it was cute. My kids had done something. I posted it. It was their Santa wish list. And somebody had seen it, and they saw that Hunter had said that he wanted a VR. And there's no way in hell I can afford a VR. It's not happening. And Joe, you know, I bought him a cardboard VR, which he actually thought was really cool. So I was really happy that the cardboard VR, the $5 little thing that I got him, he was actually happy with. But somebody saw that and messaged me and said, look, I'm getting rid of the one that I have, and I would love to be Santa for your kids. And they sent it to me, and I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. Like, as crappy and as hellish as this year has been, like that one little thing, I was like, I'm tearing up now. That one little thing like restored my faith in humanity. It's not all doom and gloom. There is some good out there still. So Santa delivered for my kids, and I really appreciate that. So it was a crappy year, but it's finishing strong.
That video touched my heart. Certainly, I thought that was so amazing. I think something that I've really been privileged to. Again, something that I'm going to miss, being divorced now and not being able to see them. But my nieces and nephews, watching them grow up and watching them just incorporate this imagination. It's so incredible to watch these kids just literally take nothing and make it into this grandiose world and this grandiose idea. It's so refreshing and so beautiful, and it gives me hope for humanity. It really does, because I mean, I realize that 90% of them or half of them, well, not 90%, maybe I'm being a little harsh, maybe half of them will lose that reality halfway through their lives, but I really hope that half of them hold on to it, because I think that's what all grew us. I think that's where we all started. I mean, I was a latchkey kid, and my brother and I were the only two kids on the block for most of the summertime, because all the other kids went and did trips or whatever. I mean, we had some kids we interacted with, but for the most part it was me and him. So we had to create things to do during the day, and we would just come up with stuff and make stuff up, and literally with nothing. Sometimes we'd use props and whatever. We'd go out and play basketball. We had a basketball hoop or whatever, but really, honestly, it was our imagination that got us through those times, and I never lost that, and I held on to that. And I really hope for anybody out there watching who has a young kid or knows young kids, that you encourage that. Don't discourage it. Don't, as Uncle Buck once said, I don't want to know a 5-year-old that isn't a silly heart or a dreamer. I hope they hold on to that. I hope that that's what they become, because that's That's so. It's one of my favorite lines in any song is a Ronnie James Dio song that's called "I Could Have Been a Dreamer," and he says, I could have been a dreamer because dreamers never die. And that's, to me, that's always been my opus, and I just really I love that about that. So sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now. It's not my time.
Our generation, though, we did have to rely a bit more on our imagination. You're right, and it wasn't. I don't feel like I missed anything out in childhood by having my parents kick me out in the front yard. Get out until the street lights are on. Go play. Go do something. No, your friends can't come inside and play. Like that. That was growing up, and you did. You enjoyed. You played with other kids. Mm-hmm. Not something you see in today's generation.
How about for you, Julia? Yeah, and I didn't have. I had we had Atari, and I grew up at the age when cable just started. Yes, I'm old, everybody. Before there was only 4 channels. I grew up most of my young life with 4 channels.
I used to sneak into my brother's bedroom to play his Atari.
7 channels.
And I'll tell you, actually those 4 channels I never watched. I always went to the UHF channel because the UHF channel always had the most interesting shit. But and UHF was never mind. I'm not even going to get into it. You guys are it's all going to go over all your heads. So I'm not worried about it. But
I'm right there with you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on the end of 8 tracks at the beginning of vinyl. And then cassettes. I was a cassette kid in my teens, and then cable had HBO, ESPN, and maybe one other channel.
MTV.
So cable only had
MTV.
Channel. Yeah, MTV. Thank you. Yes, MTV.
Yeah, it was MTV. I remember.
Yeah, and when MTV played music, everybody. That's what MTV stands for. For anybody who doesn't know, it's called music television. But
yeah, now it's meh television.
Yeah.
I think you're being nice, JD. You're being nice.
All right, Julia, get on the soapbox. Tell us about your 2020. Kick it in the balls.
I had actually some really great things happen to me this year. So my big fuck you is seeing some of the colors of other people. You know what I mean? I know. With the whole Black Lives Matter and all of the kind of contentious topics that came out this year, there was a lot of people that I was really surprised by their reactions, or just common courtesy things, people coughing on people on purpose, and I'm just that's not something cool to do in normal times, let alone right now. So it's kind of that's the thing that kind of disappointed me most, is seeing some negativity and just really nasty traits in people this year. And so I'm hoping that we learn some lessons from what's going on, and apply more kindness and gratitude, to the next year, with the new year, get a new start, and just be kinder to people.
Well, I know that Julia's come up with a great show idea, and she presented it to me, and I'm very grateful that she did, and that we did that this year. So it's one of my highlights for this year for sure. So
Are you guys continuing that for the next year?
Yeah, you didn't hear the announcement? You didn't watch the show?
No, I've been kind of radio silence this week. Sorry.
That was just my little jab at you. Sorry. Yeah.
I always watch in reruns. Thank you very much.
No, yeah. I officially announced in the last episode that we have signed an agreement for season 2. So season 2 is coming, and yes, Julia will be with us for 2021. So I'm real excited about that. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. She's how great Julia is. She's got it all mapped out, and she's got it ready to go, and she's already got plans for most of the year. It's pretty awesome. I appreciate that tremendously because it means less work for me. So I'm real excited.
Yeah, I think I've got guest booked up till June. So
that's awesome. That's amazing. All right, Josh, you want to jump on the soapbox real quick?
Okay. So my fuck you is in general how people treated each other this year. So this year was a cruel year. I remember I was in Vancouver. I was an essential worker at the time. So I would literally, when everybody was losing their minds because of how things were going, I had to take 2 buses and a train to get. I bus and 2 trains to get to work. And I remember one night going home. Vancouver has a very, very high homeless problem. And I met a guy. He was on the street, and all he wanted was a pen. And I realized there was a moment there where I was like, "What do I do?" And then I actually kind of resented myself a little bit for that, because it's a scary time. It's an unknown time right now, but it doesn't give me an excuse to be an asshole to anybody. So I made it my mission this year to be kinder to people. Some of you have gotten these. Not all of you have, but some of you have. I've been sending random notes of kindness to people throughout the year. It's just a way to just make people feel appreciated and brighten their days. I have gone out of my way to meet new people, try new things, embrace it, because I look at it like this. Even in this moment, in this time, in one very real sense, life has not changed. Life goes on, and you have to go on living. And I decided that I just imagined for myself this year, well, if I were to get it, and if I were to die, what would my, not legacy exactly, would I be content with what I've done with my life? If there's anything left I haven't done. So I went all in this year. I became a freelancer. I've done some freelance work for a variety of places like Anime Herald. I've done some stuff like how my own personal apocalypse prepared me for this one, which I still think one of the best things I've written this year. I've released 2 books. I've met so many amazing people this year. I took my podcast and made it a talk show. I decided that this year, you know what? No matter what happens this year, no matter what happens next year, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, which is just the things I dream of, the things I kind of feel called to do. And also just, I'm going to treat everybody. I don't care what side of the fence you are on. I don't care up, down, left, right. I basically just said, you know what, I'm going to treat people the very best I possibly can this year. And in so doing, I'm going to be my very best this year. It's easy to be angry in a time like this. And I truly wish, my sincere hope for next year, guys, look in the mirror, look at yourselves, treat yourselves better, but treat everybody else better, because everybody's in the same boat you're in. And that's my soapbox for, I'm just tired of it, So I'm going to do everything I can just to go for it. And if it doesn't work out, I'm exactly where I was,
Yeah. Derek Bourne sent you this message. I know it doesn't say his name, but that's Derek Bourne.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, I send them all over. For Christmas, I've been going to 3 people every day and giving them just a personal one, something just beyond even what I've done. Yeah. Like I said, that's my, like I said, that's who I'm going to be this year. Screw everything else. Yeah.
Well, I kind of ranted as Rebecca pointed out in the chat so promptly here. Let me post her comment. As she said, what about yes, I apologize, Julie. I should have not kept talking. I apologize for that. But
No.
yeah, so but
we're keeping in the bar spirit.
yeah. There's a reason why I haven't ranted yet, because of the
Theo, are we on schedule?
One more to go, then it's up to you. And you better be right, because it looks like this last one's gonna take a miracle.
It's Christmas, Theo. It's the time of miracles, so be of good cheer and call me when you hit the last lock.
It's my favorite part of it all. When you and me. Honey, let me tell you.
Where do you think you're going? Nobody's leaving. Nobody's walking out on this fun old-fashioned family Christmas. No, we're all in this together. This is a full-blown 4-alarm holiday emergency here. We're gonna press on, and we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye.
Yes, everybody. Joe will get a little twitchy on Christmas Eve, December 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, I love doing that. Episode 7, it's the season finale of Joe Gets a Little Twitchy. So come over to our Twitch stream. I know it's a weird day. It'll be I think that's is that Thursday? I'm not sure what day that is, but whatever day that is. It's December 24th. Figure it out. I did everything else for you. Just figure out the day. But we will be there. I will be there, and I am going to rant. Actually, what I'm going to do is unveil part of what I'm going to do is unveil part of my top 5 list on that show, because on December 27th, somebody below me here and I will be doing a This Year in Indies show, and we're going to give our favorite music and movies and books of the year, and Mr. JD Estrada will be a part along with me of that, and I'm real excited about that. So you'll get the first 4, 5, and 3 of my top 5 list, and then 2 and 1 you'll get on that 27th show, but come join me on the 24th for that. Otherwise, I really I just want to say before Christmas movie. Yes, I heard Ronan. Yes, it's not Christmas without Christmas Vacation. Yes, I agree.
But it could be Christmas without Mariah Carey. We don't need her every year.
We need to find out who's top 5 Christmas videos that they have to watch during the season.
Well, I would have to find indie ones, and I'm not sure I want to go through that hell. But but anyway, I really appreciate everybody. And I invited these 4 people here for a reason, because these 4 people, to me, represent what was really great about 2020 in each in their own way. And they did that personally for me, but they've also done that for each and every one of you. And if you don't know that, you need to be aware of that, because I think what they're all doing out there is amazing stuff. And I'm super appreciative that they were here today and they came on. Go right after this, go and check out Josh's draw. He's got a drink and draw he's going to be doing, which is fantastic. And yes, if you missed it earlier, I agreed to be on it sometime at some point. So you'll see me pop on, but Josh is doing some amazing stuff with his, and I will actually be on Just Joshing as well very soon. In fact, next week even. Tuesday, yes, yeah. Tuesday. So come and join us for that. I'm real excited that all the things you're doing, Josh. I think you're right. You made the natural progression to where you need to be, and I really applaud you. And I think it's amazing what you've done this year, my friend. And I'm always been a fan, but I'm an even bigger fan now, and I really appreciate all that you've accomplished and all that you're going after, and it's just amazing. So congratulations to you, my friend, for that. Julia, this year you jumped leaps and bounds into your own thing, and you've run with it, and you've done it so well this year. I'm so proud of you. I'm so amazed by you. And
I went to hold my heart and
the ring of fire.
I just I'm so grateful to you for bringing us a great show, and it's really amazing. And JD, I'm so glad that you're out there making music again, and you're doing your thing on YouTube, because your thing on YouTube is unique and special and very amazing. And you are an amazing person as well, my friend. And I really appreciate all of your canter and everything that you bring to the table. So thank you, sir. Even in these times, you've entertained me beyond belief. So I appreciate that. So, and Katie, I mean, where would Goindy now be without Katie Salidas? I mean, seriously. I mean, Katie Salidas has stepped in, and whenever I needed her to step in, and she's a superstar, everybody. And I know that, and I'm very grateful that she's along for the ride, and that Goindy now can be the place that she shines, and she shines everywhere that she goes anyway. But she's amazing at what she does at Spilling Ink. And I'm super glad that we're a part of that. And I'm super glad that she and I are doing the news thing together. And it's going to be a
And
wonderful,
you will be our premier guest tomorrow on Spilling Ink.
Yeah, so we'll be actually celebrating my actual birthday tomorrow on Spilling Ink, and we're doing a year in review on Spilling Ink. So you get a little preview. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll reveal my number 5 picks for books on Spilling Ink tomorrow for everybody. So I'll give that exclusive to Spilling Ink.
All right.
We'll enjoy that and have a great time doing that. To everybody in the chat, I mean, you guys have been there from the beginning. You guys have always supported this show. Regine, Mike, Rebecca, Derek, all of you, Shane, all of you guys out there. You guys have been so wonderful and so amazing to Go Indie Now. And I really, really thank you so much for that. Anita, sorry, I didn't want to miss Anita, who's been awesome as well. Anita shares everything that we do, and I can't thank her enough for that. You guys are so amazing and so awesome. And you've made this 46th year of my life very special, even though it's been a tough year for me. And now I look back on it and go, you know what? Fuck you, 46. 47 is here to stay, and I'm ready to rock and roll with 47.
Hey, but you know what? We need to take a moment, and we need to all recognize how much Joe is the glue in our community. We wouldn't know each other, most of us, if it weren't for Joe. Joe has brought us all together. He has created this family in one way or another. He is a part of almost every connection that we have. And we all need to recognize. I mean, Joe, you do this. You don't realize it, but you do this. And we love you for it.
You do this. We love you.
Well,
and happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you guys for being here tonight. And tonight I'm going to say the magic words because it's always time to go into now. And with that, the bar is closed. Good night.